And as we look to the future, we are guided by our past. Many of our members have recently celebrated major milestones in their company history, and so our friends at IGA, who this year are celebrating their 100th anniversary. 100 years ago, 100 years ago, a group of entrepreneurs led by Frank Grimes were bold enough to band together to help local independent grocers compete against the behemoth of their time, which was A&P. Today, A&P is only a memory, while IGA is a global brand continuously evolving to serve the ever-changing needs of its retailers. As we honor IGA's historic milestone, please join me in welcoming John Ross, the President and CEO of IGA, to the stage to share a few thoughts. John? Well, John, we wanted to do something special to recognize IGA's 100th anniversary. So on behalf of the National Grocers Association, it's my honor to present a special recognition from the Congress of the United States of America, honoring IGA's 100th anniversary, including this American flag, which was flown over the U.S. Capitol building in IGA's honor. John, congratulations to you and the IGA family of 100 years. The stage is yours. Let's give IGA and John another round of applause.
How cool is that? 100 years. It's kind of hard to imagine. That's the 1920s, the roaring 20s. And America was in turmoil, right? The Great Depression is just but a few years away, and you've got prohibition going on, and the very definition of what it means to be a global player as a country. It's really the beginnings of America as an influencer in the world. Here, 100 years later, here's IGA receiving a really cool award, and I get to speak in front of the coolest conference ever about really exciting topics like PBM reform and what's going on with credit cards and the rest of it. Okay, that got the laugh I hoped for, but here's the gig, right? So 100 years ago, these wholesalers, a bunch of them got together, and they were afraid of something new. And what they were afraid of was the coming together of national chains that might rewrite the whole grocery landscape. But who they were afraid of was a company called A&P. Well, they're gone, and 100 years from now, IGA has never been bigger. We had 2,600 stores in the United States this year. That's more than double just a few years ago. 7,600 stores globally. That's also up, adding new countries like Ireland, and I'm hoping that our Italian friends here are going to join us here really soon. And we don't think we've even gotten started. Because what turns out, it's really quite fascinating, is whether you're in the United States, or whether you're in Ireland, or in Italy, or South Africa, or Poland, or Fiji, or Tonga, or Canada, what you find out is the families that run these businesses, we're all in the same fight. What you discover is the things that keep them up at night, like unjust legislation, which not only hobbles their ability to stay viable and to keep serving the community, but could even put them out of business if things go unchecked. Or pressure from international retailers, now international everywhere, right? They're changing the landscape in a way that may not feel like you're fighting a fair fight. And all of the common issues that we face in our operations, like, can we get the right labor? And do they have the same work ethic? And what's all this emerging technology? How are we going to learn how to employ that in our businesses at the same time that to keep operating our businesses? And so it really does give you pause. And it makes you very humble and afraid of the challenge that it turns out that things that are hard in the United States start out they're hard everywhere. We run this thing called the supermarket management class, and we get retailers, middle managers usually, not always CEOs, but middle managers come together from all over the world, and they come together in Atlanta, and we do this whole class for them. It's always sold out. It's an amazing class. And it's open to anyone, whether you're in IGA or not. And if you want to look on the website to see about sending one of your team there, because it's an amazing experience. But the most amazing thing about it, beyond the speakers and the speeches, the education that they get, is watching them form relationships with each other, in which they find the common ground of serving your community, working 60-hour work weeks and nights and weekends, and dealing with teenagers who might have had the same work ethic that you had when you were their age, or maybe the way you remember you were at their age, I don't know. Right? The same challenges, it turns out we're all in the same fight. And when you realize that our job is really, yeah, we sell groceries and boxes and cans, but what we really do is serve these communities. Because if it were not for us, then who? And when our stores close, food deserts happen. And the flip happens when we open stores in underserved communities. It's amazing what happens. The communities come out, they give you hugs. People are in tears. And that doesn't happen when you open a Home Depot or an Office Depot or a Staples, right? Our business is a relationship with the consumer, which is above the transaction itself. Now, it may not seem that way day to day. They're in the store and out, they're moving the baskets, they're throwing stuff in, they're with the cashiers, they're moving at speed. But when they're in trouble, when something goes wrong, and they come to you, and we say what we always say, we say yes. Boy Scout troop, the local school, something going on with a fire in some community, it doesn't matter, it's big or small. I go out and meet hundreds of retailers a year, and I always ask the question, who do you say no to? And they look at me like it's a stupid question. We say yes to everyone. No one tells you to do that. There's no corporate mandate that says independent. They all do it because the families understand that we hire their kids to work for us. We're part of the community. We sit on the school board together. We're as ingrained with the community as any business could ever be. And because we're ubiquitous, because we serve anyone who eats, everyone is our loyal customer, potentially. And so in that environment, right, you step back to look at this amazingly precious thing that we have that's worth fighting for. Just like 100 years ago when IGA said, hey, let's try to rally around the power of one. Let's get our group together. Let's go forward as one so that we can win against what could potentially be very dangerous. And no time is that more important than now. So that joke I made earlier, PBM reform, credit card reform, changes in SNAP, and we haven't potentially seen the worst of it yet. And so many other things that these guys in Washington, who may be well-meaning, or they may be in the payroll of some big corporate companies, it doesn't matter. We still have to walk into their office and we have to say, you have to listen to me. Not on behalf of my business, but on behalf of the shoppers that we serve. Because a failure on these topics is a failure on behalf of the average consumer out there, often elderly, often middle and low income, often military families, often the people who need the most help. And if we go away, there's no one. Those big chains won't go where we go. So you have to listen to me, you have to pay attention, which makes me so proud to be a co-sponsor of this event, to be able to stand on stage with Greg and Greg's entire incredibly brilliant team who fight that good fight every day in Washington, and they win. And they do amazing work. So thank you for being here to support NGA. I wish you guys the greatest possible conference. I am doing a speech tomorrow on global economics at 7 a.m. with about 400 slides, so I'm sure you're all going to want to come. And with that, I will wish you a great NGA show. Thank you.